Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and the place to be, it's Debsy. Boop, boop, that's me. Boop, pip, pip, and cheerio, Debsy. Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. I did not give you a video yesterday. However, I'm here today in my finest headwear. This thing is getting on my nerves right here, but my finest headwear that Amazon could deliver to me in time for the coronation. Listen, yesterday was the coronation. I didn't give you a video yesterday because I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I thought I was gonna miss something if I didn't. Newsflash, there wasn't a whole lot going on at 4 o'clock. So you are getting me today talking about the coronation. I know, I was thinking that maybe I was gonna wear something like nice and you know, fancy and everything, like a dress on top or something, but instead all you have is me in a t-shirt with some bleach because I decided to clean the cellar today in the bathroom. So we're today going to talk about some of the highlights of the coronation of King Charles III and his side chick Camilla. So 4 o'clock rolled around. I pulled myself up out of bed. I was not completely awake, but I didn't see a lot of people arriving. And it said that at 4 o'clock, arrivals, 4:45, VIP arrivals. And then 5 o'clock starts the procession from Buckingham Palace. So I saw not a lot at 4 o'clock. I'm gonna go through some of the things that I happened to notice during the ceremony. Okay, first of all, listen, if anybody else watched it, put it in the comments. But the lady with the sword, that in my mind, she needs to have some kind of royal title because she was awesome. You know who I'm talking about. She had on the teal cape dress with the golden fern motif on it, and then she had that headpiece that was also teal with the same motif, who carried around that the sword. Who was that lady? And I was wondering it, and a lot of other people were wondering it. Her name is Penny Mordaunt. She is the leader of the House of Commons and the Lord President of the Privy Council. She is the first woman to carry the sword. That's called the Sword of State. She's the first woman to carry it. She carried it around for 51 minutes. That thing weighed 8 pounds. And she didn't just do it in like, you know, sneakers. She did it in some heels. I'm not talking about, you know, heels that were like 10 inches, but nonetheless, I know I couldn't carry it around. And so that, first of all, big ups to you and big congrats to you. She did a fantastic job. But then the outfit, it was giving me like kind of like a cross between like maybe, I don't know, like Star Wars or Star Trek and like Game of Thrones. I loved it. It was designed by luxury brand, I think it's Safiya, Safiya. Listen, I think she deserves some kind of royal title because she was fantastic. Now, if we're talking about strong women, I have to throw Princess Anne in there because Princess Anne, now at first I was like, wait a minute, why is Princess Anne in this big coat with this big giant like admiral's hat and this big giant plume, and she's looking like Batman with that big giant coat? I then come to find out that she was named, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was named the Gold Stick. I believe that's what it's called. And she was dressed that way because she led the procession directly behind Charles and Camilla in their carriage. She was named the Gold Stick, and that is the protector of the king. And that is, from what I understand, from what I read, it is a great honor. And today I was reading up on this and who is in line, like the line of succession to like the crown. It goes in birth order. It is Charles, and then Princess Anne, and then Andrew, and then Edward. But yet, Anne is now 15th in line, and above her is Andrew, who, if you don't know, he was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and there were charges of him having essayed a 17-year-old. He reached some kind of an agreement and kind of, I don't want to say paid them off, but so he is before her, as is the youngest of Elizabeth's kids, Edward. Why? Because she's a woman? I'm going to tell you what, she would be a badass queen. She would be a badass queen. From everything that I've heard, she's one of the most popular royals. And at the end of the year, when they tally up what everybody has done as far as work goes by royals, she's always number one. She always does the most. So my hat goes off to Princess Anne. Now, the one thing that a lot of people were wondering about is Harry. We knew beforehand they extended an invitation to Harry and Meghan. Meghan didn't go because it's Archie's 4th birthday. I was watching NBC, I believe, at the time, and they were commentating on everything, and then Harry walks in, and it was like, oh, well, Harry is here. So he walked, I believe he was in a custom Dior suit, and from what I understand, Dior was also making a dress for Meghan. And then that was scrapped because, well, she was not attending. He was in Dior. He was looking good. He walked in with his cousins, Eugenie and Beatrice, and their husbands. And he was seated in the 3rd row. The reason why you probably couldn't see him was, and I think this was done on purpose, they put him right behind Princess Anne. She had something that was big like this, except tall, like the big red plume. It was like, phew, you couldn't see him at all. So he was in the 3rd row with I don't want to say with the other non-working royals, because I believe that maybe Eugenie and Beatrice are working, but I'm not positive on that. He was also in the same row as Andrew, which, please don't even get me started on that. They're both non-working. However, I really hope that the British are a little more upset about Andrew. I mean, everything that I mentioned about Andrew, and Harry wrote a book exposing secrets that they didn't want him to tell. And he was protecting his wife and his kids. So listen, I'm not going to get into it, but that's just my 2 cents on that. He stayed for the entire 2-hour ceremony. And then after that, he left and immediately got on a flight so he could be back home in California for his kid's birthday, which completely understandable. So he was not on the balcony for the royal flyover. A lot of people, I had seen a couple reports from the UK where people were like, how terrible of him that he has turned it down. But from what I understand, he wasn't even invited. They were saying the reason he wasn't invited is because they wanted Charles wanted only working royals on the balcony, and he is looking to, from what I understand, he's looking to trim down the royal family to show that, hey, listen, we're moving into the future. We're not this, money machine where we're just spending money on all sorts of crazy things. Enter in this golden carriage and these colonized, stolen, gifted bracelets and rings and swords and orbs and sepulchres and whatever. So that's why he wasn't there. Another thing that was there was some question about in the press. Is Catherine going to be wearing a tiara, or is she going to be wearing a floral crown? And we got our answer yesterday. She was wearing a floral crown. This was, I believe it was designed by Steve McQueen, the designer Steve McQueen. I didn't hate it. I would have rather liked to seen her in a tiara, just because for me that's royalty. I did not hate it on her though. It was like a 3-dimensional silver floral piece that had like embroidery and crystals, from what I understand. And her daughter, Princess Charlotte, was completely and totally an adorable mini-me of her, because Catherine was wearing I believe it was a ivory silk crepe. Was it? It was an ivory silk crepe gown with embroidery by Alexander McQueen, and Princess Charlotte had sort of like a mini version. She looked adorable. And listen, I'm going to tell you, I think Kate, and let me tell you, I think Kate looked beautiful in it. She was also, and I found this very interesting, but the earrings that she was wearing, that Kate was wearing, they were earrings. They were these diamond and pearl like drop earrings. Beautiful. But, and I love this, they were Princess Diana's earrings. So when Charles's side chick is suddenly getting what she wanted, and that was to be queen, here comes Catherine with this little dig like, well, guess what? Princess Diana's still here, right there. I like that. And Louis being Louis, listen, same Louis, same, because Prince Louis comes in and he stole the show just like he always does. He's 5. Is a 2-hour-long ceremony. He was there at the beginning. I know just halfway through he wasn't, and then he was there at the end. He's a 5-year-old. He probably needed to just maybe go into timeout, or just go and get a snack, or just take a little 10-minute power nap. I don't know. But then during the flyover, he was at his animated self, waving and clapping and dancing. So, yeah, I was there for it. The ceremony itself was, I had mixed emotions on it. It was long. It was pretty long. It was 2 hours long. I could have cut it down a little bit, because he went through and he had to, I guess, bless everything, like the ring, and he had to touch it, and the cuff, like the cuff bracelets, and he had to do all this touching and blessing. An interesting fact though, that this is the first time, I guess, vegan oil was used for a coronation, and the oil had come from some olive trees that are at the exact site where Jesus was crucified. It came from trees that were supposedly there at that time. So very interesting. But like I said, he had a whole bunch of things where he came in and he was in a robe, and then they took that off, and he just was in his like white top, like a white shirt. And you did not get to see the anointing. That is the only part that was kept secret. But then you saw them put it on his head. I don't know. I thought it was a little too small for his head. It does weigh 5 pounds. And then came the moment. I'm just going to say it. I didn't even watch it. Camilla was going to get her shit done. I left the room. I came in, I got some iced coffee and a bagel, and I didn't need to see it. we'll get to that later. But celebrities at the coronation, it was not as celebrity laden as, say, like a wedding. There was no David Beckham. Oh my gosh. There was no Idris Elba. We had Lionel Richie and Katy Perry. They're both performing at the coronation concert today. I also believe that Lionel Richie and Katy Perry are both ambassadors for his charities. Lionel Richie for the Prince's Trust, and Katy Perry for, I don't know which one. There was Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, Dame Emma Thompson, Dame Maggie Smith looked like she was as bored as can be and was not impressed. And I'm thinking, listen, you got a sir and you got two dames. I'm thinking they had to be there because they were given like this title. So they were like, listen, you're going to have to show up at this. I really do wish that somebody would have showed Katy Perry to her seat, because she had that ginormous like saucer hat that was like tilted to the side and had that thing sticking out. And she was just wandering around looking for where her seat was. I wish somebody would have shown her that. Jill Biden was there. Jill Biden and her granddaughter Finnegan were there. I'm going to say, I was not that big a fan of what Jill Biden wore. It was like a cornflower. It had a neck that went like this, and then matching gloves that, I don't know, they looked odd. They looked like the gloves that you would put on to like clean. I just don't know. I didn't like it. Her granddaughter's dress though, it was a nice light yellow, and it was a cape dress. It was beautiful. I loved hers. Those are the celebrities that were there, so not a ton. Now listen, let me just get to this, and I'm going to get to this right now. Charles and Camilla, I don't like them. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say I like them. I just don't. Especially Camilla. I just cannot say Queen Camilla. She's a side chick. That's what she is. And that's what she is to me. To me, the real queen should be Princess Diana. And I just do not, I'm not a fan of hers. And the whole time she didn't even look happy. She looked crabby, and she was giving me kind of like, with her little smirk, she was kind of giving me the Grinch vibes. Look it up. It looks just like her. If I could, I would find like pictures put here. She did. But in her mind, she's thinking, hey, I got what I wanted. This is what I wanted. And now she just looks miserable. And from what I understand, he was miserable because Kate and William were late. And apparently Kate and William were supposed to arrive before Charles and Camilla, and they did not. They arrived after. So apparently Charles was upset about that. He was very grumpy. So listen, I'm not going to get in any more about Camilla. That's it. Because it's not going to be nice. So if you guys watched it, please let me know. What did you think about it? If I had to do it over again, I would not get up at 4 o'clock, because there was not a lot going on. Switch that. There was not a lot going on at 4 o'clock. This looks ridiculous. It didn't look like this on Amazon. On Amazon, the person looked like real, like very posh and stylish. And on me, it just looks like, oh well, whatever. Okay, so tell me, did you watch it? Yes or no? Was it a yes, I was excited? Or was it no, I could care less? I was excited. Dolly could have cared less. She was like, I don't care. Don't tell me anything about it. I don't give a crap. I don't care. And hey, if it's not your jam, it's not your jam. So with that being said, I'm going to head off, get this off of my head, because this is driving me nuts with this little mesh thing. So I will see you all later, and see you tomorrow. And if nobody told you yet today, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there. Look at Jack. And I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.